Welcome to the Steve Reeve Podcast with the best moments from the past week and a few things that didn't make it to air. Thursday.
Before people start to freak out about a show that, arguably, you have a chance of probably not having watched a lot of the most recent episodes of, there is an event on The Simpsons that has taken place, but no, Marge Simpson is not dead. She will die. That's the thing. I guess the finale of the most recent season, season 36, and they're signed on for so many more, is all about what the family goes through when Marge dies 35 years into the future. Now, normally, on a cartoon show, you wouldn't really be concerned with that kind of thing, if this far-flung into the future thing, although they have had several episodes where they do deal with what happens in the future, even if it's just a crystal ball premonition. But there's also, sometimes, characters who die. Bleeding Gums Murphy, for instance. Maude Flanders was a huge one. And so, when they do decide to actually kill off a character, it can be taken seriously. So I can see somebody reading the clickbait and going, oh my God, they killed off Marge? Why not Patty or Selma? Or both. But no, they're all still alive. They're all still kicking. They're all still going to be doing their thing in full bright orange skin tone. But it will happen, Everybody must die. Even, I guess, cartoons eventually. And I wonder if when it happens, they'll have a sworn affidavit from a lawyer like they had to for Poochie. We got our host for the new Fear Factor, The Next Chapter. I don't know if you need to add the subtitle. It's fine. It's fine. Just call it Fear Factor. That's just what the name of the show is. You can just do it with a new host. And actually, it has had a new host already. It's not just Joe Rogan, who was on it for a decade, but then they tried to do a reboot with Ludacris hosting. It didn't last long. Maybe this one will have more legs, but I guess they're going to be doing all the crazy stuff, making people scared, making them eat weird bugs and fermented this kind of thing from this part of this animal. But it's Johnny Knoxville who's going to be in the captain's chair, and that makes a ton of sense. For sure. Obviously, of Jackass fame, he is absolutely coming into it with the pedigree of being able to pretty much one-up all of the contestants, should he choose to. Except now he's got the cushy job hosting the show, so he doesn't need to. He gets to earn all the money without doing all the funny, I think that's probably an ideal gig for the guy, especially because, if you read into some of the long-term effects of the injuries he's suffered over the years of making Jackass, yeah, the guy needs a rest.
You're listening to the Steve Reeve Podcast from 100.5 Cruz FM.
It's time for Cruz Music News with Steve Reeve.
Rage Against the Machine joining many different artists who are publicly decrying the events in, not just California, the United States in general, but the ICE raids hitting out at both the Democratic and Republican parties and their supporters, citing no government on stolen land should have the power to decide who is legal and who is illegal or who lives or who dies. Very much in keeping with the spirit of the people of Rage Against the Machine ever since the very beginning. Somehow a surprise to people in this day and age that they were always quote-unquote woke. Ozzy Osbourne wants to collaborate with Paul McCartney of the Beatles. He says, I would be honored. They're, of course, talking on the podcast he's on regularly, a regular member of, and it's, of course, in talks with who would be a cool collaborator as they get ready for the final Black Sabbath show on July 5th. And speaking of, Wolfgang Van Halen has dropped out of appearing at the Black Sabbath farewell show because of the tour commitment he's got while providing support for Creed. It was in the first wave of announcements for the final gig of Black Sabbath. Wolfgang Van Halen was included, I guess. Plans have been made otherwise. Would have been nice, I'm sure. But that's it for your music news this morning. I'm Steve Reeve.
Friday.
I, like most people who aren't over 55 years old and also aren't the one person standing right behind me in every single line for some reason, do not like when my phone makes any noise whatsoever, save for when I'm making noise, like music, videos, of course. Notification noises are what I do not want. Enter the viral landline mode hack, which, to be clear, is just a setting on your phone, not a hack. but a great one, because there are cases where I don't want to have my phone glued to me, or, I just don't trust the vibrate setting in a pocket because I'm waiting for a call that is just way too important, or maybe a delivery is going to arrive, but I'm doing dishes right now. Need it to be not in hand, not in pocket. There is a way to make your phone act like the landline phones of old. Yeah, incredible. And only make noise when a call comes in, but leave all the other notifications silent. It's the focus feature on iPhones, and you can find how-tos online if you want to set it up. Shut that phone almost all the way up, and then put it back to complete silence as soon as possible, please and thank you. Can you believe that we used to actually pay for terrible ringtones? Well, we've got the 3 favorite albums from Paul McCartney finally revealed. And I guess he's picked 3 that are, a little bit older. Naturally, that does make a lot of sense. He says each one of the albums also really, for him, represents a portion, a time in his life. There is music from Big Pink by the band, Pet Sounds by the Beach Boys, and Harvest by Neil Young. Oh yeah, there's a theme there. There's definitely some commonality between all 3 of those records. We got to see, there's video now online, Green Day's Billy Joel Armstrong joining on stage with the Sex Pistols as well as Frank Carter. They did a rendition of Anarchy in the UK at the Tons of Rock Festival in Norway. And just a great pairing. I mean, that's just a magical mixture, I think. Bob Dylan, he did something he hasn't done in 15 years and played The Times They Are A-Changin'. I guess he played it last in 2010 at a White House event. This time around, he was at the Outlaw Music Festival in Tennessee, the 10th anniversary tour of the Outlaw Music Festival specifically. He opened up the set with Willie Nelson and Gotta Serve Somebody, but then jumped into a rendition, a slowed-down version of The Times They Are A-Changin', already not particularly quick of a song, so, that probably gave people a little bit of a chance to relax, have a smoke, check their phones. I don't know. It's just the song that I don't think needs to be slowed down, but I wasn't there. Maybe it was an absolutely powerful, earth-shattering performance. He's been known to do that once or twice.
Extended interview.
Joining me here in studio, a guy I haven't seen in a little bit, but formerly here in Fort McMurray, formerly on the air in Fort McMurray, we got Graham Mosman. How you doing, man?
I'm good, man. It's been like 13 years, so it's been kind of a long time.
It's been a long time.
Genuinely so nice to be back, both just as a human, because I deeply miss and love this whole area.
You got lots of connects too, yeah.
Yeah, and it's my first time back since all the virus stuff a number of years ago, and that's been a little weird.
Yeah.
But seeing everything that's grown and how this city and region has changed is so cool. It is genuinely so nice to be back.
Next year is 10 years since the wildfire. Since the beast. That's wild to me.
Yeah,
let's not think about that.
Time is a weird soup. Don't think about it. Yeah. There's just a lot of trauma. It is nice to be here, though, because I get to be here as the announcer and social media manager and game day coordinator. I do a lot of things for the Energy City Cactus Rats, which play very regularly against the Fort McMurray Giants. Yeah. It's my first time being to see that whole expansion at McDonald Island, and that's
right. Okay, so your first time seeing Legacy Dodge Field.
It's so pretty. Yeah. Oh my God, we're in the midst of working on our own stadium right now, the Energy City Metro Ballpark. Seeing the bones of what we're doing and how so much of it is based quite literally on Legacy Dodge Field. It's like looking into the future for what's going to happen for the Cactus Rats going down the line. So that by itself has been really fun.
A vision of the future. Well, that's really cool. And it is such a great facility that we have here in town. I'm always raving about it when people are asking about, is it fun to go out to the ball game? Yes. And the hot dogs are great.
As a big baseball nerd, I'm pretty biased. It's also fun because the Western Canadian Baseball League, you have teams in like Weyburn, Saskatchewan, and we're called Energy City, but we're based in Spruce Grove. And you have Regina and Saskatoon and all these different towns, kind of like not quite small town Canada, but these different parks with different personalities and different vibes of putting on a game.
Yeah.
And seeing how the Giants put on stuff here is you guys get silly. You get real goofy with a lot of stuff. And our team is called the Cactus Rats. I think there's something there for kind of us to emulate and learn from. By the way, before you ask what is a cactus rat, think about it for a sec. What is a large rodent that's very pokey? If you thought hedgehog, close. No, you're wrong. It is a porcupine. We are named after the noble North American porcupine that sits on our logo. in a high vis vest and hard hat,
which is just perfect for Alberta. And I mean, just for clarity too, because it's such a recent change that some of the promotional tickets that we've got to give out for this season still say the Edmonton Prospects.
Oh, do they?
Which is the former name, not the dead name, but that is who the Energy City Cactus Rats used to be.
Well, when we changed from the Prospects and started to find our kind of new brand identity, we wanted to set on something that really kind of represented it, not just all of kind of Metro Edmonton, even though we're based in Spruce Grove, which is kind of just outside of Edmonton.
Yeah.
But we bring in people from Stony Plain and Edmonton and St. Albert, all those kind of Metro communities, and how that kind of encompasses Energy City, which will be our ballpark name, which will be our home. Yeah. And it's also kind of nice because Fort McMurray very much an Energy City. So
Absolutely.
For us to play home games here while our stadium's in the midst of being worked on, it feels very much second home because, again, our logo has a high vis vest on it. Like, we're very safety we have steel-toed boots.
We have PPE on our PPE.
We are so safe. All right, we are good to go into any site, and no safety guy can get mad at us, except the ones that don't like rodents. But that's fine.
Yeah, exactly.
Whatever.
Yeah. No, well, they're not rats, so they're allowed in Alberta.
That's cactus rats, but not those kind of rats.
Not the real rats.
It's still kind of, sort of.
For the games, traveling around, getting to watch the teams and stuff, was something that you love about doing that.
Well, so that's the really cool thing is that the kind of baseball does not have the same kind of mass wide kind of appeal net that say like hockey does. But the thing you're starting to see now is, especially as we kind of hit this phase where there's a lot more Canadian pride and local pride, that people are really putting their local identities into this team. Like, you come to a Giants game and there's people that are like fully decked out. Anything that says Fort McMurray on it with the Giants logo, they're going to have, and that's been really cool. And that's like a nice connective tissue to see anywhere you go with this league. It's also really funny to watch mascots just dummy kids. It's always hilarious.
Yeah.
It's always fun to see. But it's also really fun because a lot of these players, we do have a number of Canadian players, but the large part of them come from Florida and California and New York. I mean, the player for the Cactus Rats, his name's Zach Piles. He's from Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and he has this thick drawl, and he's never been to Canada before.
Yeah.
And the fact that there was sunlight all evening blew this young man's mind. And so getting to chat with players about stuff like that is just the coolest.
Yeah, going from the south of America
The real
all the way
south.
here to nearly the Arctic Circle.
These young athletes from all over Canada and all over the States that just get to kind of bond together and play baseball in a weird part of the country in a very positive way. So that's, for me, the coolest part to see is just see different people from different places. We have a couple players from Japan that have never been to Canada before, and having them up here has been really cool.
They call it like an everyman sport, but I really mean like it's for everybody. Like, I think that everybody can like really enjoy what happens with a baseball game, whether you're able to play it or you're just sitting in the stands with a beverage and enjoying yourself watching.
So that's the thing for me, is why I hold baseball up as like one of my favorite sports. And I totally understand people that are like, man, it's boring. Only a few things happen.
Well, it's not European soccer, okay?
It's not as exciting as people falling all the time.
Yeah.
But the WCBL is a very high offensive league. Like, you're seeing a lot more runs scored than you will see on your average Blue Jays game, and that's the stuff that makes baseball really, really fun. Plus, ultimately, for me, I think half the experience of going to a game is having a hot dog and having a beer and sitting in the sun in the 4.5 months of beautiful summer that we get up here, and just being able to be outside and enjoy all of that. Yeah. And that in and of itself is just a special feeling. And then, getting to watch some great games is just like, is an extra side benefit to the whole experience. I'm of course biased, but I mean, when I lived here 13 years ago, you'd see little crowds at where those softball diamonds used to exist on Mac Island, and you'd see people just kind of hanging out and watching ball, and it gets to be that on a bigger scale. So it's so cool to see it grow. We're trying to emulate a lot of what you folks have done up here for the Energy City Cactus Rats, and it's going to be a lot of fun. Our two teams are in a very tight playoff race as well. So next Monday and Tuesday, as visitors, you can chirp us properly at that point. Those are really important games and very much could set who ends up going to the playoffs. So that's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, so a game on the 30th on the night there, which is also going to be a party night at Mac Island because there's the pre-Canada Day celebrations that are going on there. So you're going to be able to hear the Roadhammers just down the street. And then there's 2 games that are on Canada Day itself, one in the afternoon, a matinee game, and then one at 7 o'clock. And I'm going to be live on location there in the afternoon to bring people down, get butts and seats. So it's going to be a party.
Well, I hopefully will see you at one of these games going forward. And go Cactus Rats. And we're porcupines. We're really cool, okay? We're silly little guys.
We can't wait to have you guys back in town again early next week. Of course, the School's Out for Summer baseball extravaganza is continuing right now while kids are fresh out of their classes. So get yourself some tickets to the old ball game. You can find out more at fortmcmurraygiants.ca. And thank you very much to Graham.
Thanks for having me, friendo. It's so nice to be here.
This is great.
Transmission over. Want more Steve? New podcast episodes happen every Friday, or just tune into the Steve Reeve Show. Weekday mornings starting at 5:30 a.m. on 100.5 Cruz FM.